A massive armada is heading to Iran. Those were the exact words from President Donald Trump, and they have sent shockwaves across the entire Middle East and far beyond. When the President of the United States announces that a large naval force is moving toward any country, the world pays attention. When that country is Iran, a nation with decades of complicated history with America, the stakes become even higher. Welcome back to State View Analysis. Today we are diving deep into what could be one of the most significant geopolitical developments of recent times. We're going to break down everything that has happened, what it means, and where this situation might be heading. So stay with me because this is important. Let's start from the beginning. President Trump made a public statement that left no room for ambiguity. He said that a massive armada of American ships is currently on its way to Iran. Now, the word armada itself carries historical weight. It brings to mind images of powerful naval fleets, military dominance, and the projection of force across oceans. This was not accidental. The choice of words was deliberate, designed to send a very specific message to Tehran. But what exactly is that message? According to the statement, Iran must come to the negotiating table over its nuclear program. This has been a point of contention for years, even decades. The Iranian nuclear program has been a source of tension between Tehran and Western powers for a very long time. There have been agreements, there have been withdrawals from agreements, there have been sanctions, and there have been moments when it seemed like progress was being made. But here we are again, with the threat of military action hanging in the air. Trump made it clear that if Iran does not negotiate, they face the risk of further attacks. Notice the word further. This implies that there have already been actions taken, and more could follow. This is not just about diplomacy anymore. This is about a superpower telling another nation that force is on the table, and it is moving closer by the hour. Now, how did Iran respond? This is where the story takes an interesting turn. You would expect a formal diplomatic response. You would expect statements from the foreign ministry, press conferences, official channels. But that is not what happened. Instead, Iranian officials took to social media, and they did something that caught everyone's attention. They posted messages entirely in capital letters. For those of you who spend time on the internet, you know what capital letters mean. They mean shouting. They mean emphasis. They mean defiance. When someone types in all caps, they are not whispering. They are making sure you hear them loud and clear. And that is exactly what Iran was doing. The Iranian government did not explain the meaning behind this choice. They did not issue a follow-up statement clarifying their position. They simply let those capital letters speak for themselves. And analysts around the world understood the message. Iran is not going to negotiate under threat. Iran is not going to back down because ships are moving across the ocean. Iran is going to stand firm, at least in its public posture. This is classic signaling behavior. In international relations, countries often communicate through signals rather than direct statements. A military exercise near a border is a signal. A visit by a high-ranking official to a contested region is a signal. And posting defiant messages in capital letters on social media is also a signal. It tells the domestic audience that the government is strong. It tells the international community that pressure will not work. And it tells the United States that Iran is not afraid. But here's where we need to pause and ask some important questions. What do we actually know about this naval force? The answer might surprise you. As of right now, there has been no official confirmation from the United States military about the size or destination of this reported armada. We have the president's statement, but we do not have the Pentagon confirming the details. We do not have satellite imagery being released. We do not have military officials giving briefings about specific ship movements. This raises several possibilities. The first possibility is that this is a genuine military mobilization and the details are being kept classified for operational security reasons. That makes sense. You do not announce exactly where your ships are going and when they will arrive if you are planning potential military action. The element of surprise, or at least uncertainty, is a strategic advantage. The second possibility is that this is primarily a show of force, a psychological operation designed to put pressure on Iran without actually committing to military action. In this scenario, the announcement itself is the weapon. The goal is to make Iran nervous, to make them believe that an attack could be imminent, and to push them toward negotiations from a position of fear. The third possibility is somewhere in between. There may be naval movements happening, but they may not be as dramatic as the word Armada suggests. The language could be inflated for effect, while the actual military posture is more measured. We simply do not know which of these scenarios is true, and that uncertainty is part of what makes this situation so dangerous. When information is unclear, miscalculation becomes more likely. When both sides are sending signals instead of having direct conversations, the risk of someone making a wrong move increases dramatically. Let's talk about the regional context, because this is not happening in isolation. The Middle East right now is under immense strain. There are multiple conflicts burning at the same time. There are proxy wars, there are territorial disputes, there are humanitarian crises. The region has not seen stability in a very long time, and any additional spark could set off a much larger fire. If there is a direct military confrontation between the United States and Iran, the consequences would extend far beyond those two countries. First, consider the geography. Iran sits along the Strait of Hormuz, one of the most critical waterways in the world. A huge percentage of global oil shipments pass through that narrow channel. If conflict breaks out, that shipping lane could be disrupted. Oil prices would spike. Energy markets around the world would be thrown into chaos. Countries that depend on oil imports would feel the impact immediately. Second, consider the alliance structures. Iran has relationships with various groups and governments across the region. A conflict with Iran could quickly draw in other actors. It could escalate into something much broader than a bilateral dispute. The entire balance of power in the Middle East could shift, with consequences that would take years or even decades to fully understand. Third, consider the humanitarian impact. War means destruction. War means displacement. War means suffering for ordinary people who have no say in the decisions made by their leaders. The Middle East has already seen too much of this. Another major conflict would add to the tragedy. Diplomatic sources have been speaking anonymously to various media outlets, and their message is consistent. They are urging restraint. They are warning that direct confrontation would have serious consequences for regional stability, global energy markets, and international security. These are not just abstract concerns. These are real outcomes that would affect real people around the world. So where do we go from here? Right now, we are in a phase of escalation through words and signals. The United States has made its threat. Iran has made its defiance clear. But no shots have been fired. No irreversible actions have been taken. There is still room for diplomacy, even if that room is shrinking. The key question is whether either side is willing to step back from the edge. For the United States, that might mean offering a path to negotiations that does not feel like surrender for Iran. For Iran, that might mean finding a way to engage diplomatically without appearing weak to its domestic audience. Neither of these is easy. Both require political courage and strategic flexibility. History teaches us that moments like this can go either way. There have been times when tensions reached a boiling point and then cooled down through back-channel negotiations and mutual de-escalation. There have also been times when signals were misread, when pride got in the way of pragmatism, and when conflict became unavoidable. We do not yet know which path this situation will take. What we do know is that the world is watching. Every statement, every ship movement, every social media post is being analyzed by governments, by intelligence agencies, by markets, and by ordinary citizens who are worried about what comes next. For now, words and signals are flying faster than formal talks. The Armada, whatever its actual size and destination, is moving. The capital letters are still echoing across social media, and the future remains uncertain. We will continue to monitor this situation closely here at State View Analysis. These are the moments when paying attention matters most. When the stakes are highest, understanding what is happening and why is not just interesting. It is essential. If you found this analysis valuable, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you do not miss our next update. Share this video with others who want to understand what is really going on in the world. And leave a comment below with your thoughts. Do you think this will lead to negotiations or conflict? I want to hear your perspective. Until next time, stay informed, stay analytical, and stay engaged. This is State View Analysis, and I will see you in the next one.